Hi everyone, it's Julia, and today I'm going to be telling y'all about my MSc Breakthrough Conference experience. I was asked to dance at conference on productions the Saturday before I went to Ohio, so y'all already know how my faith was back then. But after Ohio, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after that whenever conference preps happened, and I was all good there. So I want to start with a discussion question that was on a Zoom call before preps. The discussion question was, how can you be more vulnerable to God? And originally my answer was to lean not on my own understanding, and whenever I feel that something's not going my way, I will know that it's for something greater. And I thought about that question for like the entire next day too, because I felt that my answer could be a little better. And I came up with the realization that people say that God is their best friend, and he didn't feel like my best friend, so that's when I decided to go more in depth into my prayers, because I would usually do Lectio Divinas, and I did 16 at that time. So for the next page, I was going to do 16 like prayer summaries of what I've prayed about. And I also use the rubric ACTS. A stands for adoration, C stands for contrition, T stands for thanksgiving, and supplication is what the S stands for. So I'd pray by that, or I'd also write down things that I've learned during preps, and also things that I thought about during worship at preps, because there was worship every day. Whenever I prayed, I felt more connected to God. And something that validated that was in the second workshop, which was a prayer workshop. The speaker said, prayer doesn't strengthen your relationship with God, but it is your relationship with God. So that made everything more clear, and it made everything make sense, because it is true that it is your relationship with God, and I was better off praying with God rather than being on the verge of sleep every time I tried to pray at night. During conference, I had a feeling that I've never had, and the feeling was that I'm already where I want to be in my faith. Because at Ohio and at Camp Behold, I always thought to myself that I'm in the direction where I want to go, but I'm not actually where I want to be. But at conference, I realized that I'm where I want to be, because I'm very consistent in doing Lectio Divinas and praying and being fruitful, so yay. And the reason why I got to that point was because at Ohio I went to confession, just how everyone else did too. And I confessed all the sins where I replaced other people or things with God, and it never worked out because I ended up going to confession about it. And that was the moment whenever everything went uphill again. And I was able to relate emotions and experiences to the phrase, only fill up your Jesus-shaped hole in your heart with Jesus-like things. Because whenever people used to always say that in talks, I would never be able to relate or really understand what that meant. But whenever I confessed my sins from the past 1.5 years at that day in Ohio, I could finally understand what that meant. So go to confession. It's the most helpful thing you can do. Now I'm going to talk about the environment of preps. So at the time of preps, I would only get 6 hours of sleep a night. Oh no, not 6. 5 hours of sleep a night. And whenever I did that for 2 weeks, which was like the week of preps, and then also the week after preps, after conference as well. I got influenza for 2 days that weekend. So please get enough sleep. Get 8 hours. Because I was really sick and I had to blow my nose all day, and it was such a bad feeling. It's because conference preps were from 4 to 9, and then, no, I forgot, it was 4 to 9, and then I would go home at maybe 11, and then I would go to sleep at 12 or 1 because of homework or showering. I remember at conference think 2 or 3 times there would be shakedowns or church aerobics to wake us up, because it didn't actually work for me, because no amount of church aerobics or shakedowns can replace the 3 hours of sleep I should have gotten. I remember one day in my world history class, I got so tired, and that's my first period, and I listened to Ooh Ah by Twice because that song really wakes you up, and Twice is just the antidote for tiredness. I forgot how many weeks ago what conference was. I forgot if it was 2 or 3, but I still have a strong relationship with God. I do Lectio Divinas again because I don't know, I just had to go back to it, and they're really exciting for me. They're really fun to do. And also, on the first page I did of Lectio Divinas, I gave it to my friend, and then the second one, I'm gonna give it to someone, and then my third one's about to finish, so I need another person to give it to. Because at assemblies, if you've been to enough, you know that the phrase, "we are called to share the light," has been thrown around a lot, and that's just my way of sharing the light. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.